Perfect. Okay, we will call the City of Ojai Historic Preservation Commission meeting in session. We are coming to the public from the council chambers and from through a Zoom. So, boy, there's a lot more to read now than I thought there was before. I think I'll just read the important public regular meeting of the City of Ojai Historic Preservation Commission will be called to order on Thursday, October 14th, 2021 at 5:00 p.m. by the chair. That's me, as in-person and virtual meeting, with the meeting being broadcast via teleconference into council chambers. Okay. Members of the public wishing to address the Historic Preservation Commission on items appearing on the agenda are requested to complete a speaker's card. If in person, we know who you are. And file it with the secretary. Cards are available in the lobby. Speakers should state their name and address for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes or less, unless the chair decides to give you more time, I guess. Okay, so at this time then, we would like to do a roll call if we could. Cheryl?
Chair Eakins,
I'm here.
Vice Chair Convery,
Here.
Commissioner James,
Here.
Commissioner McHatton,
Here.
Commissioner Prebor.
Here.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, if you'll stand with me and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Must be that Windows 11 slight time delay there. Okay. Public communications submitted by email will be provided to the Historic Preservation Commission at this time. Anything from the public, Cheryl?
No, we have no public comments emailed to us.
Okay. Matters raised at this time may be briefly discussed by the commission and will generally be referred to staff and or placed on a subsequent agenda. Under state law, other than for emergency items, no action can be taken at this meeting. Museum representative report. Let's see what I was sent. She's giving us a preview, as we'll talk about later. Ojai Day is coming up this weekend. It's going to be a more local event, so I'm sure we'll hear about that. But from the museum, Wendy Barker, the executive director, said history books and centennial coins, if you haven't got one, get one, on sale in our booth, number 22 in the middle of the park on Ojai Day. It's cash only. Everything is $10 or $20 even, including tax, because that makes change easy. Discounted prices, museum admission free. The museum's open that day. Biggest exhibit folks see sometimes is our old-fashioned restrooms. But we have a wonderful, the Ojai Studios Artist exhibit was just taken down. We're getting ready for the next exhibit, which they're working on, is called Ojai Warming, Flora and Fauna in a Time of Climate Change. So that should be great. However, artwork featuring downtown is on display for the next couple of weeks. Also, Dwayne Bauer's big truck with our Ojai banner will be in the Ojai Day Car Show. So that's our museum report. Current items. All matters listed on the consent item are to be considered routine by the governing bodies and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. There will be no discussion of these items unless before the governing body votes on the motion to adopt specific items are removed from the consent calendar for separate motions. And so at this time, we will talk about the minutes. Were there any changes suggested by the commissioners for the minutes for our last meeting, September 9th, 2021?
Nope.
Yes. Nope.
No.
So Cheryl, guess what? We did a gamble and signed the minutes early today. So those are yours. Thank you all. Disclosure of site visits and ex parte
Wait.
contacts. Yes?
Sarah, could we take a vote on those minutes just to
Oh,
make sure
I'm sorry.
everybody-
Yes, we should.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Gail, could you call the vote, please?
Akins,
Yes.
Convery,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
McCatton,
Yes.
Prebor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Unanimous. Thank you, Lucas. Okay, disclosure of site visits and ex parte contacts. So on my part, I was downtown on another item. I happened to be standing in front of the Ojai Theater when the owner, David Berger, asked if I would like to take a tour. I said, of course I would, and he gave us a tour of the theater as well as Rory's over on the side. So I mentioned that because we have a sign for Rory's that's coming up as a part of our commission business. So that's my site visit and ex parte contact, although I did not talk with anyone from Rory's in
Yeah.
that visit. Other commissioners?
And I visited Rory's too with you, Brian.
Okay, thank you.
I was parked in front of it to go to the post office, so I walked by it.
Thank you, Commissioner James. Anybody else?
I've been in the theater for a small music festival event.
Oh, okay. Was that recently?
Yeah, during the festival.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Nice.
So
Did you
it
go?
was,
Did you go next door to the?
I did not go next door. We weren't invited next door to the restaurant. But it was hosted by David, who owns the theater, and it was called Raw Space, and there were maybe 15 people there
Okay, great.
with a violinist inside.
Oh, that must have been interesting. Okay, thank you, Commissioner Prebor. Okay, public hearing items. We'll open.
Wait, Brian, I have one
Yes.
other thing that just happened today.
Yes, please.
I had an encounter with the owners of the Ivy. Do you remember we recently approved their sign?
Okay.
It's a shop that's on the arcade,
Uh-huh.
and they purchased the space. And they own 2 houses in Ojai, and they own this shop space.
Okay.
And they have been researching in the library about the original bank that was on that site.
So I'm gonna have you stop right there, Commissioner Prebor. We're
Okay.
really just doing ex parte for items that are on the agenda for
Okay.
tonight. So if you want, you can have that during commission discussion, and we can only go
Yeah,
so
okay.
far towards the end of the agenda on items such as that. Only because if they are applications that are currently in or inquiring, those have to be agendized before we can talk about them.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So, okay. I mean,
Okay.
I won't ask my
Sorry,
next
I-
question.
I think.
Table that.
Okay. Great. Thank you. No, I had no idea it was coming up. That's why I was looking over at Lucas to see if he was flinching. Okay, so then we will move to public hearing items. This is a sign permit for a new projecting sign for Rory's Place Restaurant Business located at 134 East Ojai Avenue on the City of Ojai Historic Landmark number 26, the Ojai Playhouse Theater. Assessor's parcel number 023-0-077-050. This is a sign permit submitted by Rory McAuliffe. Did I pronounce that correctly? And you're Rory, correct? Okay, Rory is here. Who is the business owner? The property owner is Arts Forward Ojai LLC, David Berger. So, staff?
Yes, thank you, Chair
Okay.
and Commissioners. So yes, the project before you is for a sign permit for Rory's Place, as you just said, at 139 East Ojai Avenue, and it is the Playhouse Theater, which is a historic building. In 1966, the owner at that time converted some offices in the west end of that building into a restaurant, and it's been a restaurant ever since, and now Rory's is taking over that tenant space. And they want to have a sign to identify their tenant space, and the sign was created with the intention of complying with the East Ojai Avenue design guidelines, as well as being aesthetically complementing of the building. The guidelines are not very technically specific. They state that the scale of the sign should be appropriate for the building, that they should give an appearance, or the sign should give an appearance of hand craftsmanship and should not obscure the building's architectural features, and should be, should establish a rhythm with the facade of the building and be pedestrian oriented. So the sign is hand carved, 2-inch thick redwood. This is a piece of wood, and you all have the sign in your packet, what the sign looks like. It's 4 square feet, it's double-sided, and it's projecting, and the restaurant is approximately 18 feet wide within the 71-foot wide, approximately, building frontage, so it's kind of a small part of the larger building. The sign is proposed to be attached to simple hardware, not the hardware that's on the building right now. Those 2 sign hardwares, can't think of what to call them right now, are proposed to and conditioned to be removed. The hardware that's simpler, that's proposed for the sign, will just more disappear as opposed to being part of the sign aesthetics. And the design guidelines, the East Ojai Avenue design guidelines, state that color is one of the most important aspects of visual communication, and that light letters on a dark background are the most legible, especially at night, and that's what's being proposed. We've got a pale yellow on the natural wood finish. And let's see, I want to make sure if I have any more details. The sign not only complies with the design guidelines, but also with the sign standards within the municipal code, and staff is recommending approval of the sign, and I'm available as well as the applicant if you have questions.
Okay, great. Thank you, Maura. Do we want to have questions right now, Lucas, or do we want to hear from the owner?
If there's just general questions regarding the sign, the makeup, its attachment to the wall, that we could certainly answer those questions. We need to open this up to the public as well, and then obviously provide the applicant an opportunity to speak.
Okay, so we'll open the meeting then to the public. Do we have any public comments that were submitted?
We do not have any emailed public comments, but we do have one person in the queue.
Okay,
So if I could ask that person if they are here to speak on this item, if you could please raise your hand. They did not raise their hand.
oh, okay.
They're
Oh,
probably here to speak on another item.
okay. Oops. I heard the famous Zoom echo. Okay. So open it up to commissioners' questions then?
Well, and obviously, if the applicant wants to speak, let's have them give
Okay.
them an opportunity to speak if they choose. So, Rory, if you want
So, yeah, Rory, if you'd come to the microphone,
to
please.
state your name and address, please.
There we go.
Hi, I'm Rory McAuliffe, and the address of the business is 139 East Ojai Avenue. I'll keep it really brief because I think most of the details are in that packet, but thank you for taking a look at this sign. Basically, my sister and I and our designer walked up and down East Ojai Ave a few times looking at all the signs, and we tried to design something that fits within the current aesthetic of the East Ojai Avenue, both in the arcade and outside of it. And also something that sort of carries over some of the design on the inside of our building, which is using a lot of California woods and simple yellows for the most part. So it's in speaking with what's going on inside.
Okay, great. Thank you. If you could just be available for any questions commissioners might have. Yeah, you can go ahead and sit down. Okay. Commissioners, questions for either staff or for the owner of the business?
I don't have any questions. I think it's appropriate size-wise and material-wise. It fits the aesthetic.
Great. Thank
I
you,
have no-
Commissioner
I have no
Conley or
questions.
Vice Chair.
And I think now that she told us about what the inside looks like, the yellow and the wood, I think it's appropriate to the inside as well as the outside.
Okay, great. Thank you, Commissioner James. Other comments?
No.
I'm curious if they're going to be keeping the jester sign up there, the old jester sign.
Yeah, please come to the mic. So,
So the old Jester sign has already been removed.
Oh, okay. What happened to that?
That is a question for David Berger.
Okay.
Yeah, he may have it very well in storage right now. He may have I don't know his vision, but he may have a use for it in the future. But it's definitely with him.
okay, great. Thank you. Good to know it's been saved. Commissioner McCatton, any questions?
No, I think it's a really nice sign. I would just suggest that it's really installed well, because if that ever fell on some of those points, but no, it's a nice looking sign. I think it complements the avenue well.
Great, thank you. I guess the question I have, and I looked at it yesterday because I knew we were going to talk about this, is so currently it talks about being pedestrian friendly. Currently, the sign that's out there basically has the sign that runs perpendicular to the wall so that it can be seen headed west, headed east. And you said that the hanger that's there would be taken down and it would be replaced by, yeah, if you could come to if you can tell us how it's going to be hung?
Yeah, so the details of that have been decided by the landlord and his architect, but it's going to be a simple metal, similar to, well, the construction is similar to what's there without the ornateness, and it's going to be painted to match the stucco of the building. So it'll just be a metal support that's structurally engineered to hold our frame.
Okay.
Hold our sign.
And then, as you said, it painted essentially the color of the building. And I think you said something about with the design, it's somewhat disappearing because of.
Yeah, that was David's intention when he designed this
Okay,
new support rod or whatever it's
Great.
called, signpost.
okay. And that hanger is not called out in the landmarking, correct? I think it's
Correct.
Correct.
mar-
It's
marquee
not.
in the
Metal
front.
signs are not part of the historic.
Well, I think you're specifically talking about the ornate bracket that's
Yes.
currently there. No, it's not.
Okay, so just crossing my T's and dotting my I's. Great. Thank you, Rory.
Thank you.
Okay, if there isn't any more discussion or anything more from the staff, then if we could get a motion, please.
I make a motion that we approve it.
I second it.
Okay, roll call, please, Cheryl.
Akins,
Yes.
Convery,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
McCatton,
Yes.
Prebor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great, thank you all, and thank you, Rory. Do you have any ideas when you plan to open?
Our hope,
Yeah, you got two council chambers up there.
our
That
hope
might be
is-
causing the echo.
Okay, our hope is to open the first or second week of December right now. We're just waiting on HVAC being installed by the landlord and our oven. And the permits, I believe, went in today. If not, they're going in tomorrow for those last two items.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Okay, Next item in the public hearings is on the proposed plaque language for City of Ojai Historic Landmark Number 29, the Hummelhouse, located 1105 North Signal Street. And staff report, please.
Thank you, Chair. So tonight we're looking at the proposed language or revisions to the proposed language for Historic Landmark Number 29, the Hummelhouse. It is attachment A to the report for the language that we're seeing here. And it's up for discussion or a motion if the commission pleasures.
Great. Thank you, Lucas. So just as a bit of background, the commissioners will remember we talked about this language in detail at our last meeting, came to a consensus. Shortly after that consensus and meeting, I received an email from Elise DePoit. That was on Friday the 10th. We met on September the 9th. She just had a couple very small changes and a bit of a, let's see, yeah, small changes. Like you might remember Kelly was spelled with an E in one place and without an E in the other, so that E has been put in, adding an A before mix. And also in the third paragraph, capitalizing ranch style, California ranch is capitalized, but mid-century modern and Mexican hacienda were not, and so that change has been suggested too. So these are solely small changes that were submitted to Elise. Again, it came the Friday before. I checked with Sherry, maybe Cheryl, to see if that was something we could still consider, those changes, and so that's why it's coming to you today with only those small changes. Any questions or comments? Okay, how about a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve as is. I just read the whole thing and it looks pretty much like what we decided on doing last time, except those small changes.
Great, thank you,
But
Commissioner
shouldn't we
James.
make a motion to approve it with the changes that Brian just described?
Certainly, that would be good.
Okay, so I make a motion to approve it with the changes Brian just described.
And I'll
Okay,
second that.
okay. Roll call, please.
Akins?
Yes.
Convery?
Yes.
James? McHatton?
Yes?
Prebor?
Yes.
Great, thank you all.
Yes.
It's the Zoom echo. The ray gun.
What's happening?
We think we got it fixed? Fix. Okay, great, thank you. Okay, we will move on then to item number 4, Annual 2021 Historic Preservation Award and Lifetime Achievement Award. Staff report, please.
Yes, so we're looking at the adoption of the resolution requesting City Council ratification of the Commission's recommendation to recognize Claire Hill and Dwayne Bauer with the City of Ojai's Annual Historic Preservation Award for 2021, and Alan Rains and Marion, Cricket Twitchell as the recipient of the Historic Preservation Lifetime Achievement Awards. As you recall, this was discussed at the August 12th Historic Preservation Commission, and there has certainly been some discussions and recommendations that went back and forth in September as well. So what is before you is a resolution for consideration, not numbered yet, but it includes those recipients and their bios that go along with it as well.
Okay. Thank you, Lucas. Okay, so this has been put together. We have a a resolution in front of us. Listed early in that resolution are as it says, whereas the award may be granted in a broad range of heritage preservation activities, including but not limited to, and then it lists the 7. So Cheryl did a somewhat abbreviated biography on the different individuals. Claire, Dwayne for the annual. And then later on page 4 for Cricket, for Alan, at the bottom of page 3, and Cricket in there. The thing that it was added since the last meeting is the numbers, which of those 7 items are we granting the Heritage Preservation Awards for? And so those numbers were added, and they show up on the bottom of page 5 under the now therefore be it resolved. It mentions Claire Hill in section 1, Dwayne Bauer section 2, Alan Raines in section 3, and Marion Cricket Twitchell in section 4. And it lists the items that were specified and what those items are. So I did get a call from Sherry. Life was crazy at the moment, so I quick and found numbers, and the one that I just want to comment on section 2. Again, this is page 5 of 6. The Historic Preservation Commission finds that Dwayne Bauer meets criteria number 2, 4, and 5. And then it says criteria number 2 is protection of historic or prehistoric archaeological sites. And I pretty much was thinking number 2, protection of historic, because to me, it's not a site that he is protecting. It is the vehicles that are so intrinsic into the history of the Ojai community over the years. In fact, just as a highlight, I was at the Ojai Jail yesterday. I met city employee Eddie, who opened it up for me. And Eddie rented a 1930, I think, Chevrolet as his wedding vehicle to drive from Dwayne Bauer. So that was something that just shows. So that was the only one that I was kind of wishy-washy on. Other comments on the nominations for these individuals by the commissioners?
No, I think it looks good.
Great, thank you, Vice Chair Convery.
I
Any
agree.
other?
It does look very good.
Okay, I'm sorry, was that Commissioner James? What did you say, Commissioner
Yeah, I
James?
said I agree that it does look very good.
Great, thank you. Okay, if there's not any more questions, then I would look for a motion to approve, please.
I'll make that motion.
Great, thank you, Commissioner.
Second.
McCarthy.
Second, yeah.
Whatever.
Seconded by Commissioner James?
Yes.
Okay, roll call, please.
Akins,
Yes.
Convery,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
McCatton,
Yes.
Prebor.
Yes.
Excellent, great, thank you very much. So again, this will then go to the council. It goes to them as a recommendation. Do we have any idea when that might happen, since we are in October?
It'll either be the first or second meeting in November.
Okay, great,
But it's probably when it'll be tentatively scheduled.
okay.
Yep.
Again, going based on custom in the past, we have presented those awards in the one and only city council meeting in December. Last year, it got postponed a couple of months because of everything that was going on, and also the election results and the seating of the new council. So yeah, if we can find out, then we can alert the individuals and set times up. Sometimes
Actually, that's a good point, because they typically need about 30 days or at least 2 weeks to prepare, correct?
yeah, oftentimes
Okay, so I'll keep that in mind.
they
when
like
we're-
family to come if they are local or can. So,
Thank you for that reminder.
oh, you're welcome.
So
Okay.
Did you think the awards will be presented like in February or something? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the ones that we did for last year were awarded in February.
Yeah, we did that
Okay.
virtual recording.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When is Alan's Rain's birthday? He's like 90 something, you know.
Good question.
We have to protect these people.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I did go and hand deliver them in the different locations, including running into Pat in front of her son's house down in Ventura. Yeah, so,
Wait, that was last year, Brian, right?
yeah, that was the awards for last year that were done in
Okay.
February.
So this year sounds maybe like the same thing. We'll deliver them to the individuals.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Okay. Okay.
The last one that got delivered was Darwin's, because if you've tried to get a hold of Darwin, sometimes that's a challenge in itself. So I did catch him at home and delivered it to him, which he was very thankful for. Okay, we will now move to item number 5, informational item. Do we need to close the public hearing?
Was there a public hearing for this?
Not, no,
This one wasn't a public hearing.
I know, that's
Um,
why I was saying, do I need to close it since we're not?
However, I would say this, we have someone in the waiting in the queue,
We do?
and I'm curious as to which item they wanted to speak on. Because we've kind of been running through these items without actually having them.
Oh, okay. Well, last time we asked, we tried to, said hello. So there,
Yeah, they
is this,
chose not to do the first item.
is this a new person?
It is the same person?
Oh, okay. Do we know what number she wishes to speak on?
Would you like me to bring her on?
Yes, if you would please, because otherwise I can't close the public
Sure.
hearings. I recognize that.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Don Teedy.
Hi, Dawn.
Hi, I'm attending the meeting. I didn't realize I was in the queue. I didn't have my hand raised or anything.
Okay. Well, welcome,
No.
Don.
Thank you. No comment at this time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your support in the past. Okay, then we will move on. Do we do gavel closed public hearing? Since we're moving to the informational?
That's fine, yeah.
Yes?
If you choose.
I don't know. Been doing this so long, I forgot how to do it. Okay, downtown informational items. Then we'll go to Downtown Historic Ad Hoc Committee Progress Report, recommendations to discuss. Do we have anything from a staff report?
Yeah, the only thing I would say is we had a special meeting last Thursday, and we ran through the presentation. I thought that Commissioner McHatton did an exceptional job of running through it, sprinting through it at one point, if I recall correctly, and realizing that maybe it's better to take a step back and kind of slow it down a little bit. But overall, it was very well received. I think there was some great comments that came from that meeting on Thursday of last week. And I turned this over to the commission for discussion in terms of where, in terms of the progress report at this point. And then I'll fill in where we're looking to go with a joint meeting
Okay.
with City Council.
I do have to say that I was thinking the commission that went after us was at the same time as us at 5:00, and that's why I was flying through it so
Oh,
much.
that's right.
So I was just looking at the clock, going, okay, I just got to get this out there, and then we can go back and talk about the slides as we have time. But sorry about that. I will definitely slow down. I did take. I was really close to it, so I decided to take this last week and just give myself some space from it. And because as we were putting it together, it was just almost daily ad hoc meetings. So we have a nice week of not really talking about it. And so hopefully next week we'll get together and I watched the presentation again. I went through your notes, and I want to do that with the ad hoc to make those changes and so, yeah, that's where I'm at. And I just want to know if we have a date coming. Any luck so far?
Yeah.
Well, I think Community Development Director Lucas Seibert hinted at something. I know, I think we both got the same text, so do you want to answer that question
Yeah,
now?
we're working to
Please.
strategize is really what we're trying to do right now. There is a bit of a wrinkle in how council has adjusted their schedules. They start at 6:30 as opposed to 7. By doing that, it's created a bit of a challenge with joint meetings taking place. There's a certain time in which council is asked not to start before, and that even includes joint meetings that we're talking about here tonight. That goes for all commissions right now. So that's kind of where we're at right now. We're trying to find solutions to that. So I don't have a date currently, but I know we're working on trying to get one nailed down.
Yeah, I think we're talking to City Manager Vega tomorrow morning. Is that correct?
I don't see that in I mean, we're looking, it's potentially tomorrow morning or sometime early next week to work out to iron out the details for that.
Okay. So we are on it. We tried for 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock today. Didn't happen, but we are on it. Other commissioner comments on the Downtown Historic District?
I don't have any.
Okay, well, we certainly appreciate all of you being here this last Thursday. All of your comments, like Commissioner McHatton said, she took deservedly a few days off, and then we'll have fresh eyes to come back and look at the suggestions that were made and bring that to the ad hoc committee, which is, again, herself, Craig Walker, and myself. In talking about the city council schedule, interesting to note that they do have called a special meeting this next week. I do believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Has that been confirmed at this point?
If I know about it, then it must be public.
If it's public, then yes. So there's a special meeting next week.
Okay. Yeah, it's always interesting to try to deduce what that special meeting is about with the cryptic comments in the agenda.
I will say this about the Downtown Historic District Ad Hoc Committee Progress Report. This will continue to be on agendas moving forward for Historic Preservation Commission, just so that the entire commission is on top of the presentation that McHatton has put together. Any sort of refinements or any new developments that come up, so that we're all on the same page.
Okay, great.
Good.
I'm going to put.
And I would like to add that I know that we wanted an in-person meeting, but I know that it's either November or waiting until next year, if I'm not mistaken. So however we can get that, if we are going to tie it in with the centennial, anything that we can do to get in front of council before the end of the year, if they are down in December, that would be we'd be really grateful.
Lucas, have they set an official time or a hard date for when the council is going to come back to council chambers?
No, that hasn't been. They were wearing coats on Tuesday night.
I was going to say it depends on the day of the week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going until they probably feel they can't anymore. The weather is definitely starting to change at night here. So.
Okay. Okay, so then we will continue with that, and we will continue working with City Manager Vega and Community Development Director Seibert, so we can get that meeting going. Okay, I'm going to move the one item down to planning report. We'll let Lucas talk about it. Okay, future agenda items. Discuss possible cancellation of the November 11th, 2021 HPC meeting. That's because it's Veterans Day. Is that the reason
now we
why?
can move that to a different date. If the commission chooses to do that, we've just got to make sure that it's not in conflict with another commission meeting that night.
Okay, so we could move it to a different day during the week?
Correct.
Is that what you're saying?
During that same week, or we could do it the week before, or potentially the week after. I could even throw out some dates after this meeting and see if the commission has availability during those times.
Okay, yeah.
Can that be up in the air? One of the reasons why we had the joint council on Tuesday and then we were supposed to be meeting tonight. Tonight's meeting was supposed to make a formal request that we move forward with this and put it on council's agenda if we had support from council. So assuming, is there a way that we can just kind of keep this date up in the air where it's canceled unless we have a reason? If we can get in front of council in the end of October or the beginning of November, then we could meet in November to at least do what we need to do to then ask for it to be on council's agenda, because then that puts us to another month out there. Does that make sense?
So you're saying, what I'm getting out of what you just said there, Commissioner McHatton, is potentially cancel, but leave on with the option that if that is scheduled in the very near future, that it gives the opportunity to have a meeting before this commission regarding this item, as well as potentially others, and then either run through the presentation again and provide additional feedback, or because you were talking about a recommendation to council, but is that regarding the presentation?
No, that's regarding, so if we were to get our joint council meeting, we were meeting tonight, was supposed to be after it, to then make a recommendation to council. So
based on the information that was received during the joint meeting is what you're talking about, correct?
Right. If we
Okay.
do get support from council.
I understand
and
what you're
then-
saying now.
Right. Okay. So just kind of have it in, depending on if we can get in front of council, if we can have a date afterwards so we can formalize it on our end, our recommendation.
Good idea,
Fair.
Jada.
Mm-hmm.
We will work on that. We will. Great. Thank
I'm
you.
going to be really squeaky wheel on this. Just letting you know.
Please. You have no idea how many texts I sent today, trying to figure out if we were meeting. Okay, so no, excellent point. Thank you very much. So again, Veterans Day, so you're going to, Lucas, you're going to come up with a couple alternatives to where if we needed to meet that week. Is there a council meeting? Is there only one council meeting in November and one in December, or are there two in?
Well, they meet on the 2nd and 4th. We typically meet on the 2nd Thursday.
Right? Oh,
of
no,
November, so-
us, yeah, but I'm talking about the council.
Yeah, so they'd be that Tuesday before. Do you have the dates there, Cheryl?
Do they meet the Tuesday before Thanksgiving,
Mm,
typically? That's my question.
I don't have that information in front of me, but I would venture to say
I can't remember.
on that Thursday.
Yeah, I think the 25th. '23rd would be, yeah, the 16th, 9th, and 2.
Right. I haven't seen where they've actually canceled that date, the second meeting in November yet. So
Okay, well, we'll take that into account when we're figuring out our strategy for the Downtown Historic District, meeting with the HPC and then joint meeting with the council. Okay. Ojai Theater, okay. Discuss Ojai Day Commissioner volunteer schedule. That's a future agenda item.
Can you go over that again?
Yeah, that's.
the very near future, in
Oh,
fact.
here we are.
Yeah, it's, I thought it was, is it in our package?
No, it doesn't have
The
a schedule.
last page.
The last page.
Oh, the last page. Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay, there we go. Very last page. Okay, so Ojai Day goes from 10 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and so I will be here earlier. I will be helping, bringing items over for the museum, and then also making sure items are available for us in front of the jail. I happened to see Luis the other day when I was, I think, leaving the jail. He will have a pop-up for us and a table for us and chairs. Okay, we don't have a tablecloth. If you think we should have a tablecloth, then I will talk to Wendy Barker. I think the museum probably has some extras of those. Yes or no on the tablecloth?
Yes.
Yes to the tablecloth.
Sweet, I knew that was coming.
Yes. And then I think we had some little brochures there a couple years ago,
Yeah.
like the walking
Yeah.
tour.
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
I contacted him, Brian, about that yesterday, day before yesterday, to make sure that we had those. Yeah, I think he got them
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, so I've been, Cheryl had, so after I talked to Eddie, Cheryl had made 50 copies of the downtown walking tour, 50 copies of the landmark brochure, and 50 copies of the Mills Act. Those were waiting for me in the office over at Public Works. So I picked those up and talked to Gina this morning. And so Gail was nice enough to make us another 50 brochures for the downtown, a walking tour of historic downtown Ojai. So we have 100 of those to pass out tomorrow. Harking back to days before I got on this commission, Cheryl says we have about 30 of the fans that will.
Oh, good.
I'm not sure what the weather is on Saturday, but I don't think it's horrendously hot.
I think we also had flashlights for the jail before, but I think they also got
We
stolen.
do have that. The Public Works also inventoried that. They told us we have 4 flashlights that are working. Not knowing that, I did take one home so I could check the batteries and
Yeah.
make sure we have some fresh batteries. So there were 4 of the smaller flashlights that are there. The jail is being cleaned up of the cobwebs tomorrow by Public Works. And so everything will be fresh and clean and available for us.
Yeah.
I think one year we had cookies or something for people too.
I was going to say Darwin always got cookies from Vaughn's, and he would give them out when you returned your flashlight. So that's how he controlled the flashlights.
That's interesting. That's good.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
that's
very
like
good.
giving
Well,
drinks
is
for Little
food,
League baseballs.
is
The
food-
baseballs are worth a whole lot more than the drinks, so it was always a deal.
Baseballs. What?
Oh, okay, interesting. So.
What's the question, Jenny, about food?
I was just wondering if food was COVID safe or where we were on that. Or if we're
Yeah,
gonna
I mean, it's down there in the woods, outside.
Should we bring some
I'm there in
cookies,
the back
Brian?
alley.
or-
I don't
I
know
don't know.
about individually wrapped cookies.
Well,
Okay.
they were more like on a plate, and
Yeah.
each person picked up their own little separate cookie.
Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
you
It
could
was
do that
pretty
during
safe.
COVID.
I don't know.
We'll talk to staff.
Yeah, I'm
Since it
sure
ain't
it's
my
not
life.
Maybe
allowed.
we could bring granola bars or something.
I can make cookies. I can make cookies if you wanted.
There we go.
Go for
And
it. What time
So-
are you? Are you early? No, you're
I'm
late.
early. I'm 10 I'm with
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
so if
Brittany and I are
anything's
10.
left
We're
after
opening.
Chair Akins and Commissioner Prebor don't eat her wonderful cookies.
we might eat all those cookies.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
pass them along. Okay, so
I do have one thing. I don't know if anybody had, we overlapped ourselves to half an hour, but that hour in between, if you happen to have anyone who can join you, a friend and somebody that, it's just, I know
It's
that
only a half
last-
an hour. Yeah.
year before last, the last time we did this, we got really swamped, which is awesome. And people I talked to today said that the jail's the highlight for the kids to come to. It's really nice if you have someone at the table and someone in the jail making sure that they're not climbing on the beds or doing anything adding to the graffiti. So if you do have anyone
Yeah.
who can come by and visit and just kind of help out
Yeah.
with you.
Well, Darwin was pretty strict about that they had to have their parents with them to go in because it was a landmark. you know, there weren't like a bunch of 8-year-olds in there running around on the loose. He was strict. So, yeah.
So I don't know. I was just, if you had, I'm going to make my daughter do it. She plans on.
All excellent points. So if you can bring a friend, bring a friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's only a half an hour, Gina, that you.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not much time.
Because, yeah, we love that families come there and visit. And I talked to Dwayne a month or so ago, and so he will have our faux Ojai police car there and available
Good.
for photos.
Good.
They're at the jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You haven't seen it,
So,
Jenny. It's really
How
cool.
do you get it in there? You
I-
ride down the bike path?
Well, yeah, you could. Also, the bridge is put back in place, so there's a bridge that comes in there from the road that he can go down. So we'll see which one Dwayne picks.
Okay.
But there are a couple different methods because the bridge was out last year, or last time we came. Our Ojai day last year was, video. Okay, so again, you see the times there, 10 to 12, 11:30 to 1, 12:30 to 2, 1:30 to 3, 2:30 to 4, and we'll do a breakdown there. Again, we'll have chairs, table, and a quick up that Luis is going to arrange for us. The other thing Luis has mentioned a couple times to me is that there will be an app. Have you heard about this, Lucas?
There's an app associated with,
Yes.
right.
Is it a
code,
Q
right.
code?
So yeah, it's just basically you're holding up like you would take a picture and it'll
Uh-huh.
get you the information.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Luis is going to send me a link, but just another way to let people know what's happening, what's available there. So that's great. Any other questions on Ojai Day? And by the way, I do have, let's see, Bob's nice gel suit at home. However, there is another one in the bag in case someone feels the need to dress up as a jailbird. Okay, just saying that. So that's in the box there in the gel.
Huh. Okay.
Okay.
So
You need- you need-
with the
do you need a-
spiders?
I'm sorry, what?
With the spiders?
Spiders will not be there. They're being evicted.
I mean,
Sorry,
we're-
eviction law. They are being evicted
So,
from the jail tomorrow.
Where have the costumes been this whole year?
Oh, in the jail, no.
I know where the costume I'm wearing has been in. It's been in a sealed Ziploc bag
Okay.
in the costume box in my garage.
So do you need a volunteer for that? Like a kid a teenager or something?
Oh, to wear the other
Wearing
jail
the
suit?
jailbird suit?
Oh, we should pick
Brian
a
looks pretty good in it. I don't know.
jailbird for the day. Yeah, I'm just glad it's not going to be 106. Okay,
Yes.
I hope. Okay, let's see. So that's the Discuss Ojai Day Commissioner Volunteer Schedule. Planning report. And I will ask, so each of you should have been sent a link by Lucas, and I will maybe tell us some information on the Caltrans report that we sent out to all the commissioners.
Yeah, so you got a 200-plus page Caltrans report. It's a historic report that was done, it looks like it was done in 2017 as a part of ATP. I can't really go into a whole lot of detail on it, only because it's not an agendized item, but just know that you received it. I'd say take a look at it. It's a wealth of information from a historical standpoint for properties along Ojai Avenue. So it's a really good piece of information.
Okay, so again, as many of us saw, the fact that they were going to do this did come before the commission in 2017. The fact that there was a report did not come before the commission when it came out. So it was a bit of a mystery, but anything you can tell us on an update on our landmark, the Ojai Theater, that we should know? Or
Nothing I
is there
can, nothing I
anything
can
the-
identify as it is not an agendized item. I cannot speak to it specifically.
Well, can't you give us a verbal report from staff on current planning activities that potentially involve
Activities that are
historic
related
preservation?
to this commission, yes, in terms of items that are potentially going to be on the agenda. The Mills Act agreement.
Oh,
for
okay, you're
historic-
talking about Mills Act for the theater?
No.
Oh,
Mill,
I'm sorry, I'm confused.
yeah, the Mills Act for, if you look on the Historic Preservation Commission future agenda items, tentative,
Yeah.
there's 2 items that are scheduled for December 9th. But those could be scheduled for November 11th or an alternative date as well.
Yeah. Don't we usually don't have a meeting in December anyway. We have the holiday dinner, right?
Yeah, that was canceled. That meeting
Yeah.
or that holiday dinner was canceled last year.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think we're going to have it again. I don't know, but I kind of also don't think we're having a meeting. I don't know why. But
Right.
So just to make it clear, I was not asking for a report on the 2 items that are listed under December 9th. I was asking for what was going on with,
I can't speak to that specifically. It's not an agendized item. You're asking for information that's not on the agenda for tonight. I can speak to things that are coming up. I can't speak to specific items that aren't on the agenda.
so you can't give us an update on what's taking place with the current landmark in the city?
No, it's not an agendized item. I can't, not tonight. I can provide that via email as an update, but not an agendized item. Or not because it's not an agendized item.
Okay.
So I have a question.
Okay.
So right around the time I was on the commission, I remember Terry was talking about yearly get together that the commissioners would have, like this little like retreat where they spent the day together. And then he retired. Is that something that, if we ever wanted to do that again, how do we all meet without causing problems? How did it work with Terry when you guys did that?
So that was, I don't think they've had one since I've been on there. The meeting, since it was a city meeting, and it was agendized and it was advertised, actually took place at Terry and Claire Hill's house because their house is in the city of Ojai.
On top of that, yeah, we could end up doing something like that. Yes, we just gotta make sure we're following all the correct protocols, providing it as open to the public, and basically following all the notification procedures and process,
Right.
just like we do here. If we end up having
But
an
I'm just-
offsite meeting, yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yeah. But, okay. So I was just wondering, like, if we don't do the Christmas or the holiday dinner again this year, it would be nice if we capped off the year, all of us just, getting together and maybe having a celebratory time. But I don't know how to do that.
can we
With
do
that-
it indoors, Gina? Isn't it too cold to meet outdoors? How would we work it out with COVID?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it would have to be outdoors
Yeah.
someplace. But I was just, during the day, that's why I was wondering if, how it was done in the past, because I remember hearing Terry talk about that, Terry and Claire, with their home. And I just wasn't sure if that was something that if we just can never do anything like that, or if we could in some
Was that
in
during
some
the week?
capacity.
Was that at night? When was that? On the weekend?
I think it was on the weekends, or it might have been done in lieu of a HPC meeting. I mean, I can certainly ask Terry and Claire.
Okay.
But I guess the question I had was, and the thing they said was that the meetings always were held at Terry and Claire's house because the meeting has to be held within the city limits.
Yeah.
Any insight on that, Lucas?
I I mean, you would typically want it to be held within the city limits. I think it's kosher.
Yeah. I mean, it
Allows
makes
for
sense. I didn't know if
anybody
that was a
within the city to
requirement.
attend within reason, yeah. I don't think there's necessarily a requirement, as long as you're notifying where that meeting's taking place.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea, Gina. And maybe if we don't have a meeting in December, we could do something like, coffee or something at 10 in the morning, some kind of thing like that. That way we're outside and it's not, it's COVID friendly. I don't know. How does that sound?
Yeah, I was just
Again,
wondering
Lucas,
if
can
that-
we do
how that
a
would work.
social meeting if no business is discussed, or is that too close to the line?
Yeah, it's potentially a Brown Act. You've got to we would have to agendize it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then provide notification and identification where the meeting would be held. I can get more information for the full group here,
Okay.
and provide some options. We could even put that on the next agenda to discuss further too. Sure.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Commissioner comments, anything else? Cindy, you had shared some remarks at a previous meeting about when we do have the joint council meeting. And I asked you last Thursday, or invited you to share those comments today.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you did? I don't have them. Oops. I didn't know that. Who knew? Basically, I just went over them, I think, during our last special meeting
Uh-huh.
about the tax, how a historic downtown core creates a more valuable environment, as evidenced by the top 10 most visited small towns in America are all National Historic designated towns. And that because Ojai qualifies on the national and state level, it adds value to the town. Those are the kind of parameters I wanted to inform the city council about, so they would understand that this is an economic goal, not just, a whim of the Historic Preservation Commission. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So this report that Lucas referred to has been distributed, or has been asked to be distributed to the council. Whether it goes to them is up to the city manager and the mayor, I guess. So, but, in my opinion, my commissioner comment, I think that report is beneficial to the work that's taken place with historic preservation with the ad hoc committee. So I'll end it there, and we'll see what happens.
I
Any
do
other-
have one. I have one question.
Yes.
Did this 242-page document get sent to the council, or can it?
It is a public document, so certainly they have access to it. Whether or not it's been officially distributed to James, or by James, the city manager, to the council, I don't have that information at this point.
Well, do they know they have access to it? I mean, are they
We
aware?
didn't.
What? Are they?
I do
did it
know that
for
there is
2
one
years,
council
yeah.
member that has access to it. Yes, and certainly I'll be following up with the city manager after this meeting to clarify whether or not that's been distributed.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Then we will adjourn the meeting. Thank you all.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
I guess I can look that way too. Stretch my neck. Great. Thank you all. Okay.